In recent years, it seems like Steve Rogers hasn't been getting a lot of love in the comics. I mean, sure, Sam Wilson's Captain America has been prospering, which is great to see. He's a great character as well. But Steve Rogers hasn't really had a strong run in a while. I mean, the last run, the JMS run, was pretty good. I actually enjoyed it. I know not as many people loved it so much, but I thought it was cool. It was sort of like a more down-to-earth, grounded look at Captain America, sort of his personal life as he was fixing up his old apartment building and looking back at the past and sort of seeing his rise as Captain America and the hardships that he went through before being Captain America. I thought that was pretty cool, but it ended pretty suddenly, honestly. It didn't last as long as we thought. It was only around for about, I think, around 14 issues or so it wasn't quite a long spanning run like the Ed Brubaker run from years past. So it feels like we just really haven't gotten a really strong Captain America run in quite a while with Steve Rogers at the head of it. But now, the Chip Zdarsky's new run answer that call in its first issue. Let's talk about that.
Captain America is not just a superhero. He's a question mark etched into the modern world. This story isn't about Steve Rogers throwing a shield through tanks or delivering a rousing speech on a battlefield. It's about a soldier out of time, wrestling with whether his myth can still mean something in a world that is no longer black and white. This new run by Chip Zdarsky, I don't know how to say his name. Okay, this new run by him is really interesting because it works on a parallel track. The first is Steve Rogers himself, thawed from the ice, once again standing at the gates of a world that both reveres and exploits the star on his chest. The second is David Colton, a bullied, asthmatic young recruit who seems plucked from the same frail Brooklyn streets where Steve once fought his own battles with bullies and self-doubt. Their story echoes each other's across time, creating a quiet conversation about service, sacrifice, and the cost of being more than just a man. Where Steve was motivated by Pearl Harbor, David Colton was motivated by 9/11 to join the military. In this run, Steve's arc begins with refusal. Offered the easy, comfortable seat among the Avengers, complete with Tony Stark's government connections, but he declines. He already belongs to an organization, he says, shouldering his shield like an unshakable burden. For Steve, the war never ended. He returns not to be a celebrity, but to be what he is, a soldier. Because for him, the fight is the fight, no matter the century, no matter the war. It is the place where he feels the most useful, the place that makes the most sense to him, no matter where he is in time. Yet, this blind loyalty collides with a new reality. Steve faces Victor Von Doom, a modern dictator draped in armor and ego. Reed Richards says he is consumed by the same symbolism that once made Steve a legend. Doom hides inside his mask. Steve wears his stars and stripes like an open wound. Both are defined by what they represent, not just who they are. In a long, searching conversation with Reed, Steve wonders if he's fighting the next Hitler or if the world is even that simple anymore. Meanwhile, on the other side of things, David Colton's chapter bleeds raw truth. He is every weakness Steve once carried on his chest: a frail body, persistent asthma, fist too small to matter against the fists of the world. He's brutalized by bullies and humiliated by drill sergeants who see him nothing more than just a liability, yet David refuses to stay down. A recurring image of him on the ground, fists still raised, eyes still wet but unbroken. "I'm not crying," he mutters through blood and rain several times throughout the story. I think this provides us a very interesting look at Captain America, right? I think we're so enthralled with the story of Captain America in modern day, showing what the world used to be and what mattered to a soldier to what the world wants from a soldier now. This is a story that earns its gravitas. It asks whether the shield is protection or prison for Steve, something we don't really think about much. He is still just that skinny kid from Brooklyn. We never wonder why or how much that burden of carrying that shield really is to him. It shows that for every super soldier serum, there's a trembling kid like David Colton, willing to bleed in the mud for slim hope of becoming something more. And it never lets Steve off the hook. If he is to serve, he must wrestle with the knowledge that the world doesn't want simple saviors. It wants myth that stay frozen while the real world breaks people like David over and over again. I think what this comic is trying to say is that Captain America isn't the bright symbol from wartime posters. He's the same skinny kid from Brooklyn who fights bullies in alleys, and he's still standing between bullies and the weak. Just in a different way, he is providing motivation to the next generation of Captain America. I think something like that makes the story worthy of the Shield. So now that I went through an entire tangent on what the book is about, what do I actually feel about the book? I think it's a really good start for a new Captain America story, and like I said, it does show that Captain America isn't this bright symbol that we all see him as to himself. He sees himself stuck in the Stars and Stripes, but he kind of wants to be there. And now we're seeing this new generation of soldiers go through the same thing that Steve went through. In a weird way, it is another origin story for Captain America, just told through the lenses of somebody else. The same type of surprise attack that led Steve Rogers to become Captain America just in the 21st century. Pearl Harbor was a surprise attack on the people of Hawaii, and 9/11 was a surprise attack on the people of New York. Then we see David Colton unable to serve because of his asthma, of his disabilities and stuff like that, that he just doesn't fit into the military. Same thing that Steve went through. And the bullying, the trauma, and just never giving up. And the bullying that David Colton goes through, that he just never gives up and doesn't stand down for a fight. Even when his drill sergeant beats the shit out of him, he doesn't back down. It's a really unique way to tell a Captain America origin story without telling a Captain America origin story. My concerns with this is that while it feels unique now and it feels like something new, having David Colton's story, I fear that it's going to lead down this same old path of David Colton, maybe he's not ready to be at war, and the reality of 21st century war is different from 20th century war. And it sort of corrupts him, and he ends up fighting Steve, and Steve ends up embracing Captain America. I just don't want to go through that again, because we've seen that a million times, right? So as of right now, the Chip Zdarsky, Zaberky, whatever his name is, I can't pronounce his name for the life of me. It's really good. It's a really good first issue, but I'm scared that it's going to lead to something generic. I say, if you're going to read it, wait for the trade paperback to come out, and then make your own opinion on it from there. I don't know how to transition over to Spacey, so. I don't know how to sing in Korean.
Thank you for that, Ray. What an amazing analysis of this fantastic first issue of Chip Zdarsky's Captain America. I really hope it goes down a great path too. I hope it doesn't sort of go down to this path of, like, you know, Colton being like, oh man, yeah, being Captain America kind of sucks and everything like that, and the war is sort of like, you know, a lot different than it was and everything, and it's really corrupted him and everything like that. Really hope that we don't get to see that. I mean, we've seen that a bunch of times. I think it would be more interesting to see a Captain America in the modern day meeting, you know, this older Captain America with older sensibilities and stuff like that, that's sort of a little world weary. There's some interesting lines. He's talking about, like, you know, there's a bit where he's like, you know, is there a God and everything like that still in this world and everything, that he's sort of seeing the darkness and the corruption around him and everything, and sort of sees it as a difference than when he was, you know, in his heyday and everything like that. But he still has a sense of hope too, which I think is really beautiful as well. Captain America is very much this symbol of optimism and, you know, bravery and everything like that. There's a really great moment in here where Captain America is stopping this domestic terrorist and everything from blowing up, you know, this building, and, you know, he doesn't just like, all right, you know, screw you, man, and like throw his shield at him or something like that, or, you know, bash him in the head or anything like that, but he really, you know, tugs at his heartstrings and speaks to him on a personal level. He sees that this person is a soldier as well, and sort of, you know, they trade, you know, these more meaningful moments and everything like that, and what it means to be a soldier. And I think that's such a beautiful moment, and really speaks to the person that Captain America is. He isn't always the brutal option, the dull tool that's willing to do whatever it takes. But no, he sees the humanity in people too and really tries to reach out to that and try to capture their hearts and minds, not just with his fists, but with his words. See, to me, I think this is really refreshing. I mean, sure, we've seen Captain America out of the ice and the struggles that he goes through, this sort of fish out of water story as he tries to catch up with the modern world around him and tries to carve a new path. And of course, we've also seen some post 9/11 Captain America stories too that are also really great too. But I think this is a really cool combination of that, like seeing what does it mean for Captain America to wake up from the ice in this post 9/11 context. I think is going to be really interesting to explore and very flavorful too. I feel like Chip Zdarsky was a great person to get to for this. I mean, of course, I've obviously talked about Avengers Twilight and how much I love that, and I think, yeah, like he really has continued his great Captain America writing here, so I'm very grateful that he was chosen for this. And of course, you know, it has that relevancy too, you know, with all of the trouble in the Middle East and everything like that. Even though this takes place in the past, it can still sort of provide a mirror and a lens into our modern context and everything like that. So I think that's going to be really interesting too. I hope this run lasts for quite a while. I hope it doesn't, you know, get stale or anything like that, that it keeps at this level. If it keeps at this level, man, this could be one of the best Captain America runs we've had in quite a while. We'll see how this goes, but this first issue was very promising. Artwork is fantastic too, very, of course, heroic and viewed with a lot of American symbolism and stuff like that, and just sort of, you know, these harsher moments and everything like that, but moments that come out of the harshness of bravery and triumph and just strong willpower and everything like that. So, very excited for this. This is a great first issue, perhaps one of the best first issues of this year so far from Marvel, so really good stuff. If you've read the first issue of Captain America by Chip Zdarsky, let us know what you think. Did you love it? Did you hate it? Were you somewhere in between? Big shout out for Ray to doing this as well. Loved his analysis as well. So, we will see you all very soon.